Hello Stratters, it's CreepEvee and I am back. We're going to be looking at our Rhystic Tron deck again today. We're going to try to get in some more games and hopefully do a little bit more of what this deck is supposed to do this time around. But I'll just quickly go over the deck again to remind you guys since it's been a few days. We are going to try to build up our mana with our Tron lands, very easy thing to do. And then we're going to try to color fix with things like Prophetic Prism and our Azurius Signet. We have 4 copies of Unknown Shores as well. Try to fix our mana so that we can cast blue spells like our Mnemonic Wall, Muldrifter, so that we can set up combos with Ghostly Flicker to prolong the game. And ultimately build up mana to cast Rolling Thunder for game. And we also are going to be using Rhystic Circle, the namesake of the deck. That way that we can try to prevent damage with the massive amount of mana that we can produce off the Tron lands to keep ourselves in the game until we build up enough mana for Rolling Thunder. So that is the idea of the deck, and hopefully it'll perform a little bit better than it did last time, but we won't know till we get to it, so let's jump into the games. Okay guys, I am going first, and I am playing against Duck X. Sorry that I'm kind of coming in mid-game, had a little problem with the recording, didn't set that right. But anyway, I did choose to mulligan because I only had 1 Tron land in my opening hand and really nothing to do with it. Going into a hand of 6, I still was pretty limited as to what I had, and decided to keep it. This is just a deck where you can't really afford to mulligan too much. And I did have the map in my hand to work with. And I scryed, saw that I had a Tranquil Cove coming, and decided to keep that on top. And I think we're going to drop that now, so a little bit of a slow hand, but we're going to make it work, hopefully. My opponent drops the Blossoming Sands, so the first things that come to my mind are Boggles and the Infinite Elf combo. We will see. Well, Boggles. This might actually be fine to go up against, which is an unusual thing to say because Boggles are not exactly a fun thing to play against. But their mana base is a little bit slow, and we can kind of overcome that with our Tron lands, obviously. And with Rhystic Circle, we are able to stop one source of damage pretty well, and they're typically only trying to hit with one source. They don't swarm the field with a lot of creatures, so as long as we can stop this one Boggle from hitting us, we're generally okay. So as long as we can keep our mana up, stay ahead of our opponent, I think we should be able to do okay. My opponent is off to a very good start here. Oh wow, a flawless start, really. Everything short of an Armadillo Cloak for my opponent here. I like the inclusion of the Cartouche of Solidarity here. I think that's pretty good. Well, I guess we go for an Azurius Signet. I mean, I would play the Muldrifter, but we lose it, so it doesn't really do anything for us. Pretty much at this point are just digging to see what we can draw. If we draw a power plant, we can not do anything. Yeah, that's game. Wow, that's one for the highlight reel for my opponent. That is a strong turn 3. A little bit weird seeing the Manamorphose there. Kind of curious as to why they chose to include that. Electrickery is a must. That's pretty much going to be what we win the game with against this deck. Leave no trace. What else? I think that's probably all we need to bring in. So the question is, what comes out? We could... Everything just seems so good here. I really do feel like this is a really positive matchup for us. Even though it certainly didn't look like it in that last game. Let's go down an Impulse. Go down Mystical Teachings. It's probably a bad idea, but we'll make it work. I guess go down like... I guess we'll go down a Haze. There's really just not much that you want to take out of this deck to begin with, but let alone in a matchup where you're already kind of positive. We will go first. Once again, a pretty slow hand, but I definitely want to have cards in my hand versus the lack of cards that I had last game. We definitely need to try to be more efficient and faster because my opponent apparently draws flawlessly. I mean, granted, like, the deck is really consistent, and it's extremely powerful and extremely fast, but that was one of the best starts for a Boggles player I've ever seen. Because we've played against Boggles on the channel, you guys have seen how powerful they can be, but that was a solid start. Utopia Sprawl, kind of annoying. We have an Ethereal Haze live now, which is good. But mana acceleration in a Boggles deck is a very dangerous thing. I really don't know how I feel about this Manamorphose, to be honest. I don't really know, maybe he's playing something outside of his typical colors and is just using it for a color fix. Unfortunately, we do not draw a color fix or anything. If we had blue, we could at least cast Impulse, but no such thing for us. But yeah, he might have something like maybe blue in his deck and just doesn't really run the islands to facilitate it, but you know, just playing like one of it. That's the best thing I can think of. So we get an Unknown Shore, so our Impulse is live. We're gonna try that during our opponent's instep. Looks like my opponent is off to a pretty slow start as well, which ain't no bad thing. We will get blue, cast this Impulse, and what do we take here? Let's take the Tower. And we get a Crop Rotation off the draw, so that's not bad actually. I think we can just plan on Crop Rotating out the planes. We might as well just do it on my opponent's instep. It's not really going to do anything for us to do it now. We can bluff something, and I mean, technically we have the Ethereal Haze. I just don't expect him to have any way to give a Boggle haste. He's at 6 cards in hand, but just not really able to get anything going, I guess. So we need a mine. Let's grab the mine. Yeah, the flaw in that deck is if you begin to just constantly draw into your enchantments and not into your creatures. Let's try you. How do I want to do this the best? Let's cast the Mole Drifter outright. Draw 2. Just go ahead and yield to that. Because I either need to have this on board or a blocker, and this is a blocker that gets me some card advantage. Then we go... Guess we'll just go with the Expedition map. Not really sure exactly what to search. Probably just another Unknown Shores, to be honest. I don't think the Bajuka Bog is going to do us any good, or the... Well, I guess we could get the Mortuary Mire, but I don't expect, you know, kill spells or anything like that. So my opponent's finally getting a chance to cast. Goes for the Gleeful Sabotage. I don't really know what he was planning with that play. I don't know whether he's just kind of running out of plays to make or something. But I don't really see the point in burning something to try to take out a map that I have the mana to break. I mean, it's not like I'm bluffing anything with, you know, 2 colorless mana open. Interesting, though. Let's go for plains. Tap you, make white. Out of this. Get our Rhystic Circle out. Yeah, I definitely would have saved this because that hits enchantments, right? Yeah, okay. I could go for a Mystical Teachings. Not really a reason to do that now, though. I'm just trying to play it safe right now because we're in a solid position. So I don't really feel the need to try to overextend myself right now. So let's color fix here. And let's actually just get... Let's err on the side of caution. Well, no. I think we're better suited to go for the Ghostly Flicker. Was tempted to grab, what was it? Electrickery. Just to completely shut my opponent out. Okay, so we get to our Rolling Thunder. Very good. So I want to start... Yeah, let's attack with the Mole Drifter first. Because I am going to flicker it along with the other one. I'm going to cast it and flicker it. So we might as well get the damage in. And now... make blue. you. And evoke the Moldrifter. Let's see. Do the evoke trigger first. Doesn't really matter. Actually, let's untap that, and we'll actually tap here. Just for the sake of keeping our options open with a power plant. So now we get to draw plenty of cards. Evoke fizzles. And we've got another Moldrifter. Not really going to have anything to do with it. But we are pretty protected from damage now with our Rhystic Circle. I'm going to dump the Mortuary Mire. And I guess we could even dump an Ethereal Haze and an Unknown Shores, because our color fixing is pretty good at this point. We definitely want to get to something else, but my opponent gets his Boggle out. I'm assuming he has to have some, yeah. I was gonna say this is all he's probably been sitting on, is a bunch of very nice enchantments. So yeah, he is he's a big boy now, but we drew into exactly what I wanted. Because now we target the Armadillo Cloak and we wipe out all of his stuff. The question is, do we do that yet? And I think the answer is no. So I want to try an Impulse here. Once again, trying not to get greedy. The Prism is perfect. Drop that down. Draw a card. Get a crop rotation. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and attack with the Moldrifters. He's certainly going to be able to attack and do damage next turn. Considering that his Boggle will not have Summoning Sickness. But I am going to really cripple him next turn. This is an instant, so it's gonna be a bad day for him. So we essentially have 3-4 mana to work with here. A little bit more now. Could have evoked this Moldrifter, honestly. Actually, I think we're just gonna pass. Then we will be able to cast this Leave No Trace, and I'm pretty sure that will pretty much seal it. Because he's at 3 cards now. I'm expecting him, yeah, to drop the Cartouche. So hopefully he's just going to dump his hand of enchantments. And then we get, okay, yeah, this is going to be a bad day for him. So we're going to let him go ahead and attack. That's fine. But let's see, this is a, oh wow, I thought it was a 4-drop. But yeah, because the Armadillo Cloak is 2, we're going to be able to completely stop him there, which is a shame because he's got an incredible amount of enchantments on that. We are going to take the 1. My opponent decides to scoop it up. That is a good game, but unfortunately side decking really hurts Boggles. Let's see if we can't try and get another game, because that one was pretty short. Okay, our opponent is Web Guy. He has decided to go first. We're definitely going to keep this hand. 2 Tron lands and our colors to work with. We've got a Muldrifter. Not a whole lot else that you can ask for. Opponent leads off with a Swamp and a Dark Ritual. So let us see what we're up against here. A Mind Rot. We'll discard a Plains and an Unknown Shores. So hand disruption. Not sure what we might be looking at here. Let's throw down a Tranquil Cove to start out. I want to get some colors on board here. Normally I'd prioritize the Tron lands, but playing this deck is a little bit weird. If you're used to playing Tron, you definitely have to adapt to it a little bit. Very oppressive and very control based. Something that not all Tron players are normally used to playing. Maybe oppressive, but not control based. Unless you play the like the blue variant, mono blue Tron and modern, then you're a little bit more accustomed to it, but otherwise it might be a little bit different experience for you. Sign in Blood. Personally, I love the Tron lands. I've played different variants of Tron pretty much since I got into the game competitively. Well, not even competitively, really. I guess once I grew out of kitchen table magic, I guess we'll say that. Oh, I thought I hit skipped until end of turn. That's a bit of a bummer. I guess we'll go ahead and crack that. That was my fault. Misclicked that. Or mispressed, considering that was keyboard. Power plant. I'm going to hold out for an impulse on my opponent's turn. Assuming that I hit the right button. Pretty sure I did this time. Opponent has 8 cards in hand, but missed a land drop last turn, so curious as to what might be going on. It's been a while since I played against Mono Black and Pauper. Am I really pressing the wrong key? I wonder what's going on there. Normally I have my keys mapped a certain way. Not sure what's going on there. Might have to look at that after this game, trying to figure out what's going on there, because this is a control deck. I certainly don't want to be skipping my opponent's instep. So let's cast this outright. Draw 2. Opponent probably going to have kill spells for this, but it's not a huge deal. Let's get down our Prophetic Prism. Let's see what we can pull off of it. Another Prophetic Prism. That's not bad at all, if you ask me. Gonna have to let this mana run out, but yeah, definitely wish that I was I don't think I had any problems with it in the last game. Maybe it creates a complication, like if my opponent is literally not doing anything. Geth's Verdict. We're going to have to sack off our Mole Drifter. Not a massive loss. We do have another one in hand. We do have Mortuary Mire to get it back. Let's actually do that. And then drop the Prophetic Prism to go ahead and draw it back. And that's going to have us looking pretty solid. We'll use one of these for blue and cast this Mole Drifter. As you guys know, I like to cast my Mole Drifters all the way out. No evoking. And so we have Impulse mana for the end of my opponent's turn, should that occur. I wish I just... No, I'm not going to do it that way. Let's just click through it because I don't want to miss out on anything again. I assume it will stop it if he plays something, but if he doesn't, then it looks like it was having some problems. So we're going to have to sack off our guy again. Unfortunately, our Mole Drifters cannot catch a break today. But luckily we have more in store. Good thing about his deck is it looks like it's very reactive and disruptive, but not really anything aggressive, which unfortunately really doesn't leave anything for our Rhystic Circle to do. So we might not get to show that off, but it does allow us to build up our mana. And eventually do what we do best, which is burn our opponent. Oh, wait a minute. I did not want to do that. I want to tap for blue. Cast the Impulse. A lot of good choices here. A lot of good choices. I'm going to go for the power plant. My priority right now is generating mana. We will cross the Rolling Thunder Bridge when we get there. Is this a 2 or 3 drop? 2 drop. Let's go Azorius Signet. Get some good color fixing going. And then let's go here, cast this Mole Drifter. And we get to a Ghostly Flicker. That's quite good. So can we do the Flicker Mole Drifter? That is the question. The problem is if we do that, we're burning through a lot of mana that could be used for card advantage. Let's try an Impulse. Biggest thing is like we'll have a massive hand, and we'll have to discard a lot, which is kind of wasteful. Let's see what we pull off of this. Prophetic Prism sounds quite good right now. Drop that. More and more card advantage. There's not a whole lot for us to do right now. We do get a Rolling Thunder, so we are ready when the time comes. We have the We have the hazes, but I doubt he's going to drop a black creature with haste. More likely to kill off this Mole Drifter. Is going for a mana spell. And a Mind Rot. Let's drop a Haze and a Rhystic Circle. We're going to lose another Mole Drifter. Our Mole Drifters are just having a bad day. A Mystical Teachings, that's very good. Alright, let's do this. Well, no, not even that much mana. Blue, let's go you, and then we will evoke the Mole Drifter. Might have should have Mystical Teachings. No, because we're kind of limited on, well, yeah, let's actually do that. I think that's not a bad idea. Go ahead and drop it before we draw to, you know, search efficiently. Getting, I guess we could get a Ghostly Flicker, honestly. And then bluff not having a Ghostly Flicker before that. Let's go into you for a blue, and you cast Ghostly Flicker. We'll just flicker one of our prisms to get a draw trigger. So drawing 5 cards, not bad. We did have to expend some mana to make it happen, but I think you guys can see the obvious value that this deck generates. An Impulse. I think I want to cast that Impulse. Just to see if we have a good way to finish dumping out our hand. And not really. I think the Expedition map, just off the sheer ability to deck them. And there really wasn't anything there to really accomplish anything with. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up completely tapping out, but I think that's fine. We'll go ahead and get a Rhystic Circle into play. Our board is just so cluttered. This is an unsettling board to somebody that's as much of a nitpicky person. This is so disheveled. So we got a Mystical Teachings loaded. We could actually Ghostly Flicker the Mortuary Mire. What did he cast there? The Sign in Blood. We could flicker the Mortuary Mire to get back a Mole Drifter. I kind of want to have that one back. But that means that we should attack first. We might actually just be at a point where we can burn our opponent out. I think we are. Especially if I drop another Tron land. Let's just see. We need to get to 14, 16. Almost. No, we can do it. So we'll take this and generate a red. Generate a red. Cast Rolling Thunder. Target our opponent for 14. And unless he has some sort of magic black spell to bring his life total up by for 2 mana, then we got the game. We did. Let's look at what we can do here. My opponent is forcing us to sacrifice creatures. One thing that really stands out to me is this Crusher. The Crusher is really greedy, but we can completely render him out of the game. And that's why I want to bring it in. And then the Counterspell and the Dispel. I mean, these Ethereal Hazes and Rhystic Circles are dead in this matchup, unfortunately. We're not really getting to play our deck the way we want to play it. Dawn Charm doesn't... Actually, it does help us because he's forcing us to sacrifice a creature. And I'm pretty sure that counts as targeting us. So, siding has been a big theme in this deck so far. It's kind of raises questions about this deck's strengths and weaknesses. But your side deck can be so versatile in this deck, and that's one of the things that I like about it. You can play nearly anything in your side deck with this, which is very valuable in Pauper. Side decking is extremely important. So this looks fantastic. But the big reason for the Crusher is if he doesn't kill it, then he has no permanence, which is the exact situation that you want for Crusher, because he's got to sack 2 whenever I attack, which means all he has is lands out. Those lands now have to get sacked off, and he's pretty much crippled if I can continuously attack with the Crusher. It's just getting over the hurdle of that first turn where he can hit back pretty much invulnerably. Actually let's stop passing because I don't want to mess up and miss my opportunity to use the map. Discards 2 life. Well, discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Why can I not talk? It's almost like I do YouTube for, you know, a thing. I was gonna say living, but hasn't paid the bills yet. Consistent hobby, shall we say. That... Oh, I thought that was the discard. Oh, yeah. That's the Sign in Blood equivalent. Either way, we're fine. Drop our Prism. So we have plenty of color fixing, plenty of drawing, and plenty of mana. I'm just going to auto yield to this because hopefully we'll be playing more of them. So let's go Azorius Signet. And we have the ability to impulse next turn, or during our opponent's turn. I'm I'm just not even going to pass because I'm kind of concerned about that. I'll have to look and see why I'm passing that way. Because I have mine mapped a little bit differently than most people do. Like, I know the default is like with the number keys, but I prefer it just being down. I use my Z and my X key, or Z and X key if you are in the Europes. Pardon my phone ringing. Don't know why it is ringing at this hour. If you watch my videos here or on my personal channel, you know that that darn phone is my kryptonite. Let's throw down an impulse. I want that prophetic prism. Let that mana pass. He has to discard one. There goes the Shrivel. Doesn't really do much against us. That's just -1. Yeah, that doesn't do much against us. Let's drop the Prism and see what we can draw. I want to drop this Crusher. I'm just afraid that I'm going to have to sacrifice it. So I kind of want a Dawn Charm in my hand before I cast him, but that's asking a lot. Let's fully cast a Mold Drifter. See if we can get to it. I mean, it's a 2-of that we sided in, so drawing it is asking a lot of the deck, to be honest. But there it is. Thank my lucky stars, which are typically not all that lucky. We'll just go ahead and drop the map and use it for a search, just to be as efficient with our mana as possible. And I'm just going to grab another tower and be greedy. Yeah, I mean, as long as I'm remembering the way the cards are worded correctly, Dawn Charm covers us. We do have to discard to this. I'll discard a Wall and an Unknown Shores, since we have plenty of color fixing already. Does Doomblade there. So at least that's a kill spell out of the way. Okay, let's go Power Plant Mine. Well, Power Plant Prism, I should say. Don't know why I said mine. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Cast our Crusher. And this Crusher is honestly a death sentence for him if he does not deal with it. I'm going to not even risk my pass buttons so that I can protect this. Its damage regenerates a creature. So let's do that. But that does mean that we're now open to something like a Geth's Verdict or Chainer's Edict. And Speak of the Devil. But that's 2 cards that he had to expend to deal with 1 card. So seems okay. Just unfortunate. But he was right to expend resources because, like I said, that pretty much ends the game for him. We will will dump out this impulse. Let's grab the mystical teachings. Don't really know what I want to grab with it though. Kind of wish I would have grabbed that mortuary mire now. What do I have in here? Nothing too exciting. Let's go ahead and use the mystical teachings. Awkward mana with the towers. And I really don't know exactly what I need to grab here. Kind of just want to grab another impulse, honestly. Like, it's really what we need right now. Draw power is great, and we need more of it, which is why we need to keep digging. And this is not much here. I guess we could grab another mystical teachings. Like, we're limited. These back in any order. Can use this mana, cast mystical teachings with this, and then we still have the one engraved to work with. I mean, honestly, let's grab an impulse. Like, why not? Why not? Unless my opponent has hand disruption, in which case that really sucks. We'll see. He's down to 3 cards now. Does have a lot of mana, and does get to draw some cards off of the painful lessons. I really like the artwork for Painful Lesson. Very unique, very interesting. I love a lot of the artwork from Amonkhet. I love that Egyptian style. Very cool. Wasn't my favorite set, but I did like a lot of the artwork and a lot of the lore that came from it. Very excited for some of the lore and whatnot coming in the next set, Dominaria, because we get to see more of Teferi, and I love Teferi. Not really a big fan of him in most of his like cards. I've never really been big on the style of play that he uses, but I think that the lore behind like Urza and him and Teleria, all of that was really cool. So very excited to see that we're gonna get to look at him. Grab a Ghostly Flicker, everything back in any order, and I think we are just going to use these Prophetic Prisms as flicker targets. So let's go boom boom and get some draw off of them, because we're kind of desperate for draw right now. Crop Rotation and a Tranquil Cove. Not at all what we need. Not even close. So flashback can happen at instant speed, right? Do I want to take the risk of me not knowing how the game works? Because that's a strong likelihood. We could actually test it, but I guess not, because it didn't really give me an opportunity there. So we could Ghostly Flicker again, just being pretty greedy, but why not? Greed is the answer to everything. Not at all, kids. Please don't listen to me as a moral high ground. Not a good plan. Guess we can play our Rhystic Circle and then pass. That's all we can really do. It's a shame. 'Tis a shame. Really wanna get something going here. How many cards do we have in deck? 28. So we've dug through just about half of it. Discard, Crop Rotation, and a Plains. I like the idea of mono black control. I definitely feel like Dimir control is far better, but I do think that it's an interesting way to play Pauper, and it's very viable. But as you can see, it kind of lacks a way to push, and Dimir gives you that opportunity to really push for game. Because right now he's disrupting us, but our hand was fairly mediocre, and we're still just completely ahead of him. Not to sound arrogant or whatnot, just merely looking at how efficient his deck is at, you know, trying to get to his game plan. I guess we'll just grab like a Dawn Charm. I don't know. At this point, I'm deck thinning, honestly. The wall is 6-drop, right? No, a 5-drop. We'll get a Ghostly Flicker. And we can start looping our Ghostly Flickers. Unfortunately, we are going to take damage there. So that's when it enters. Okay. Still worth it. Oh yeah, I have to click here. Ghostly Flicker. I was playing a game earlier, and I was using my Masterpiece Paradox engine, and now for some reason every time there's a card as it's loading, I can kind of see the Art of Paradox engine. Oh, Moto, you are a strange beast. Let's go here just to be as efficient as possible. Use Mnemonic Wall to loop Ghostly Flicker again. Because Pauper is an interesting place. We'll just always yield to that to save a little bit of time. But I do want to have the ability to check yes or no, as they say. Little country music reference for you out there. Well, I just don't really see Ghostly Flickering again this turn to be really the idea that we want to go along with. Let's actually... I don't know, like, this is just a weird situation. I think I'm gonna save the Ghostly Flicker and do it on his turn. Target player sacrifices a creature. Well, I don't actually want to sacrifice my creature. So, let's go ahead and stop that. Dawn Charm coming in clutch. Actually, I am thinking about siding Dawn Charm more now because it's kind of impressing me. Well, there's our Rolling Thunder, and that is going to be game unless my opponent can really pull something up here, but pretty sure this is it. So we'll make a little bit of red. And just to be safe, we'll go ahead and tap down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 19 that we can go for. And really no need for me to go for the extra, but just to be completely safe. And that is it. So, controlling the board there, honestly, I don't know, it was definitely a bad matchup for him, and as well the Boggle player. So it does show what this deck is capable of. It really doesn't get, we haven't really even used Rhystic Circle yet. Man, this is weird. I'm really trying to show this deck off, but it's been weird. I've been trying to get a lot of games in with it, but I like it. It's very, very interesting. You get to play very differently in a lot of different matchups, and that makes the deck fresh as you play it, which is important. So if you're looking for a deck to build that is going to lead to different sorts of games every time and you're not worried about things getting repetitive, this might be a good deck for you. It's a little bit pricier just because of like the Tron lands, but it honestly, if you play Pauper, investing in the Tron lands is something you should probably do. Side decking with this deck leaves you a lot of room just because you have so much color fixing. Siding with it is a little bit difficult because there's not a lot of things you want to take out, but with practice you can kind of get an idea of how you want to work with that. Ghostly Flicker and Pauper, along with Muldrifter and Mnemonic Wall and all the other great ETB effects in this format, absolutely amazing card. So any deck that can run it is pretty much already on its way. So let me know what you guys think of this deck. I really have been trying to get a match where I actually use Rhystic Circle, but it's been a little bit difficult. But I do enjoy the deck. I hope you guys do as well. I am working on some other ideas that I have for videos right now. I am starting my new job tomorrow, actually, so I've been trying to record a few videos today that'll come out during the week. That way I'm not worried about trying to get videos done. I know I've been kind of slow on them, but I know I always say this, but things have been crazy. Trying to settle in with this new job and looking for apartments right now with a couple of friends of mine. So all in all, in the end of it, it will lead to me having more time to make videos, but right now it is a little bit of a hindrance. But I promise guys, we are going to get there and things should be a lot better. I do have a lot of big plans. I do want to throw a couple ideas at you before I end the video. I am able to do live action videos. My camera is not super great, but I thought about if you guys were interested in seeing some of my personal decks that I have on paper. There's a few of them that I don't really want to go through the trouble of building on MTGO because some of the cards are a little bit pricey. And I already bought them in paper, so I don't really want to do it again. So it would give me an opportunity to show those decks off I have a few fun ones. I have some commander decks. I have a modern deck, pauper decks. Pretty much I think the pauper decks I've already featured on the channel though. But I do have the commander decks and the modern deck that I might want to show off to you guys. Might be a little while before I could get games in with it, but if you guys want to see them, I'm more than happy to show them off. I just need to get my camera set up properly. So let me know if you guys want to see that. Like I said, I'm going to be recording videos in advance, so for a while I might not actually have a chance to adapt my content to the comments, but I will read them as always, and I will try to respond to you guys as much as I can. I love hearing from you, so let me know whether that's something you guys want to see. I definitely want to do something with the new Brawl format whenever it gets onto MTGO. I was hoping they would have it up already. I have a lot of decks that I want to try building with that. It seems like a very interesting format, and I do want to just have a video where I talk about it. So a lot of things that I want to get into, but don't want to make this video too long. I am trying to make my videos a little bit shorter for my benefit and yours as well. But that is everything that's going on with me. I hope you guys' lives are a little bit quieter and not as busy as mine. Sincerely hope that for you, but for right now I'm trying to get mine on a different track than it currently is. Better track in the end, but I hope you guys enjoy the video. As always, if you enjoyed it, you could leave a like. It shows a lot of support for the channel and we very much appreciate it. If you like what we do, feel free to subscribe. That way you can see all the videos from all the great people here on Magic Gathering Strat. And if you like what I do, you can find me over at my channel and on my Facebook page. I post there whenever I post videos to my personal channel, as well as when I post here. We currently have the Spider-Man 2000 Let's Play going on. Got some other stuff coming up soon once that finishes up, so you don't want to miss out on that. And with all that being said, guys, I will see you in the next video.